My thoughts are that I believe prayer is important. I believe probably most of us don't do it enough, and we should do it a lot more than maybe we already do. But the caveats, the rules, the gotchas, all of the things in this bill spell maybe disaster is an overstatement, but it's not when you're looking at maybe millions of dollars worth of lawsuits. I mean, the fact that you have to have a room where nobody can hear, the fact, I mean, we've already had massive issues this year, or I'd say issues, hassle with just for kids to go to FCA, they have to have permission form after permission, to do all the things. Kids have to have permission forms, and it's been a hassle. And this is just yet another thing that, I just won't go on my soapbox about who did all this, but it's just another thing. And while I think it's super important, I think definitely we could all do more. Just all of the different stuff, all the junk and baggage that comes along with this, it just absolutely does not make sense. And for those reasons, I will vote accordingly.
All right, Ms. Esquart?
I don't have any comment.
Mr. Kennedy?
No comment.
Ms. Hargrove?
No comment.
Mr. Ferguson?
No comment.
Okay, all right. Well, if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion.
Make a
Oh,
motion
wait. Oh,
You can do it after the second if you want.
after the second?
Okay.
Oh,
Or now, however you want. It's up to you.
I think you have to read it after.
after it goes?
Yeah, I think
Do
after
I
the
just read it?
second. Or anybody can.
Okay. All right, well, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that
I make a motion that the board decline to adopt a resolution and policy establishing a designated daily period of prayer and reading of religious texts under Texas Education Code 25.0823.
Mrs. Hargrove makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Neighbor seconds it. All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. So I'll just read the statement, I guess. The board has carefully reviewed Senate Bill 11 from the 2025 Texas legislative session and determined that adopting a new local policy establishing a designated daily period of prayer and reading of religious texts is not necessary at this time. However, it is important for our community to know that students and staff already possess well-established rights to pray and religious expression in our schools. Under existing law, students may individually, voluntarily, and silently pray or meditate at school, provided such activity does not disrupt instruction or other school-related activities. Staff members also retain individual rights to religious expression consistent with their professional roles and responsibilities. These rights are protected by the United States Constitution, Texas law, and current district policies. Tonight's decision is not intended to change or diminish those protections in any way.
Chad, so if the board were to decline to adopt, our students would experience no change. Is that correct?
That is correct. The status quo would remain.
And at this time, not only they're allowed for silent prayer, but they also can convene on their own time before and after school if they're joined things like FCA or other clubs where they can talk about their religious choices. They're allowed to have their Bible at school, to read during school hours. None of that would change as well. They're still welcome to do this.
Yes, all of those things would remain. Board policy FNAB, legal and local, speaks to student expression and the use of facilities. So all of our students, student clubs are subject to the Equal Access Act, and they have the right to gather for example, at Flagpole in the morning or FCA, et cetera. Those clubs can persist regardless of what decision is made by this board this evening. SB 11 just adds a designated period that would be mandated across campuses, so it wouldn't be a student choice, but a designated period that would be required at each campus, consent forms, so only those students who consent or whose parents consent would participate, but that would be in addition to what is already allowed by the status quo.
And just to be clear, there's no fiscal note attached to this, correct? It will be unfunded and will require our district to bear all of the costs related to it, its implementation.
Yeah, I don't know that I would.
Well, there is a fund that will allow the AG to defend any school district that is that's sued, I believe.
That is correct. I just don't know that I'm the best person to speak to the cost involved. Certainly, I believe that there would be some administrative burden, as we addressed here, and likely some financial
There's
cost.
like no
But,
fiscal note attached to the bill
as it relates
itself.
to the law itself,
Right.
the statute as written does
Yes.
not provide for additional funding
Okay.
in order to implement the statute as written. No.
And I'm just, just to kind of ask your opinion, from a legal point of view, since there was language included that gives a directive to the AG to defend lawsuits against SB 11, it seems pretty clear that the legislature clearly anticipates legal action. Who would pay for those?
I think that the legislature could envision that there would likely be litigation involving this statute as constructed. And we haven't, I'm not personally aware of any of those lawsuits being filed to date. We certainly saw that with SB 10, and I would expect that we would likely see it with SB 11, but I also would expect that the Attorney General would defend districts who elected to adopt this resolution
Just because-
against any potential plaintiffs.
And just because he defends does not mean that you win the suit. I feel like this bill invites government into matters of personal faith while requiring parents and staff to waive constitutional rights just to participate. And I think that just on that alone, it would invite a lot of litigation.
So, just to summarize real quick, if we decide to adopt, there is an administrative burden that we will endure. If we decide to decline, nothing changes. Our process that we have today continues.
I think that's an excellent summary, Dr. Davis. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion.
All right.
I move to decline to adopt a resolution regarding a designated daily period of prayer and reading of religious text pursuant to Senate Bill 11.
Motion by Phil,
Second.
second by Rob. Any other questions or comments?
I do want to comment, Phil, that I wish I would have said I move to decline to adopt. I think that's a phenomenal resolution. Well said.
Okay, we have a motion by Phil, second by Rob. All those in favor? Or any other
Sorry, I didn't-
comments? Go ahead.
I feel like this, along with many other mandates that the state has passed down, is unfunded. And I think we really, as a district, need to pay attention to the fact that this is a common occurrence happening in our legislature. And we, as a district, take on the financial burden that the state does not. It's very similar to vouchers. Right now, they're being sold as something that the state is paying for, which it is not. The districts are paying for it. The districts will lose a lot of money from or some whatever, But I just feel like we really need to consider this and try to push for at least mandates that do have a fiscal note attached, so that their authors and their sponsors at least try to understand the potential outcome on school districts and their budgets, so they can really clearly think about what goes into the legislation that they're trying to propose.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Motion by Phil, second by Rob. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Chad.
All right, this time I move to accept the recommendation of the administration to decline to adopt the resolution created a policy described by Senate Bill 11 under Texas Education Code 25.0823 as presented.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed, raise your left. All right, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Eberly.
2 on page 23. This is discussion and possible action regarding Senate Bill 11, requirement for resolution. Team, look to my left. Do you have any questions on this one? Team, look to my right. All right. I move that the Hill CISD Board of Trustees adopt the resolution affirming the constitutional and legal right to choose to pray in school as presented. Second by trustee Runkle. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Consider and take possible action regarding Senate Bill 11, SB 11, the resolution for period of prayer or religious text reading.
President Halsey?
Yes, Ms. Kane.
I move that the Board of Trustees decline to adopt a policy under Senate Bill 11 establishing a daily period of prayer or religious text reading and continue current district practices that protect voluntary individual religious expression in accordance with the resolution.
Motion made by Ms. Kane. I will second that motion. Are there any questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? That motion carries 6-0.
All right, we'll move on to item 12.2, consideration and disapproval of a resolution establishing a school period of prayer in accordance with Senate Bill 11. Dr. Sermoni, do you want to give a brief description or just on Senate Bill 11? Or were you going to do that? No? Okay.
Yep. Oh, I think some trustees wanted to have some discussion on that.
Okay. So,
Do I make the motion first?
yeah, I can take a motion for Senate Bill, for Senate Bill 11, motion 12.2.
Madam President, I move that the board disapprove the resolution establishing a school period for prayer in accordance with SB 11.
I have a motion by trustee Howard. Do I have a second? I have a second by trustee Dr. Lowry. We're going to have discussion. Do we have discussion on this matter?
I just want the community to know that if this is adopted and should the district have litigation, the Texas Attorney General would be the one that would represent the district, and they would be able to take the financial burden of the district if there was any legal action. That's the only update that I have.
Okay, thank you, trustee Rodriguez Barnett. If there's no further discussion on this agenda item, I will take the vote. All those in favor? All those in favor of 5? All those against? All those abstain? So motion passes 5-0-1.